Hey, welcome back, and if it's your first time here, just welcome. This time I'm going to show you a new piece of behind the scenes kit that allows me to do shots like this. And this is it, the FeiyuTech G6 Plus. It's a small handheld gimbal which can take weights up to about 800 grams, which for you American friends is about 1.7 pounds, which takes in quite a lot of modern cameras. So I'm going to use this with my existing camera, which is the Sony A6300. So it will fit the A6300, A6400, 6500, the Olympus cameras, the Canon cameras, and then it will take things like the GoPro, and it will even take the phone. So in the box that it comes with, you have a little phone holder which screws into there, and you also get the GoPro mount and a little GoPro screw. So if you're going for the new Hero 8, that'll be perfect to go on there because it's got those little fold down feet. They all go into the box. Now, when it comes to all gimbals, they need to be balanced before you can use them, obviously. I'm not going to go through the main setup with this because FeiyuTech have an absolutely brilliant video on their YouTube channel, and I'll leave a link in the description box down below. But that will go through how to set the whole thing up. But what you want to do is make sure that all your accessories are on, your lens cap is off, the camera is turned on, and everything, if you've got any filters or anything like that, they're all on there, and that's when you put the camera and balance the gimbal. Now this one goes with the motor here on the side with your handhold. Pull the switch on the mount and then get it into the right position, tighten the screw up, and it should be roughly balanced. It's not exactly right at the moment. So there you go, it's properly balanced, so we just tighten everything up. So this one's roughly balanced. You do need to set it up so everything is right, and then the button on the button on the front, you just hold that for a few seconds and that then turns it on, and you've then got a nice balanced gimbal. So if I then take that off, just do a basic run through. You've got the on button on the back, you've got a little jockey wheel to allow the camera to move up and down, twist from side to side, and then once you've got the camera sort of in a weird sort of position, there's this lovely button at the front here that if you double tap it, everything goes back to being balanced again, which I love that button. So I'm going to take you outside to a location that's not far from me, but people will probably recognise it if you've seen some British TV programmes like Broadchurch. And I'm going to run through how I go about using the gimbal and the sorts of shots I can get. So come and join me out there. Have you seen that programme Broadchurch? Well, that is where it was filmed. This is West Bay in Dorset. And this is where I'm going to test this thing. So, without further ado, let's get going. Okay, so we're just going to run through the modes on this thing. Now I'm going to use my backup camera because I'm filming with the other camera, because the idea of this setup is to make it ideal for travel. So it's everything small and light, just to be a travel kit. So it should be fairly well balanced. And as I said, I'm not going to run through the balance of it. There we go. So I'll lock that down. Then there's an on button that you just need to depress until the screen fills up, turns on, and then we're good to go. So the first mode is, I'll take the legs off. So the first mode is just an HK, which means that you get a horizontal movement, whereas you don't get an up and down movement. Hit the mode button once, and that turns into a lock, which means that it will stay on whatever it's pointing to. So that will just move and stay exactly where it was set originally. Press it twice, and that goes into selfie mode, which I'll run through when I get onto the beach. That twists round, and I'm now filming me while I'm being filmed. So I can move the gimbal around, back and forward, and then when I've finished filming myself, all I do is the reset button on the front, tap it twice, and it flips it back round. It's easy enough to handhold. You've got no more weight really than a GorillaPod. It's a little bit heavier than a GorillaPod, but nothing major. I can swap hands, and the camera stays with me. So that's my left hand and my right hand. So if one arm starts to get achy, just switch it over, and it goes back. And you probably aren't going to see a difference. You'll see a difference as I switch hands, because I'm making it a bit more exaggerated. But that's all. Hit this 3 times, and it goes into what they call inception mode. Now I think that might be something to do with the film Inception, but it allows you to then do a 360 with the camera. But for some reason, this setup I've got it on at the moment doesn't like doing it. So I'm going to try it with a lighter camera, or maybe a heavier camera, just to try and get that. But at the moment, it doesn't like doing it. But that's what you do for that. Hit it 4 times. And you need the legs for this, because this allows you to set an automatic pan. So I'll just double tap that. Hit this 4 times. 4. You hear a small beep. Move it to where you want to start the pan. Hit the button again. You hear another beep. Move it to where you want the pan to finish. Hit it again. And this is set to a fairly quick pan. So as you can see, no hands, and it's panning, which will be perfect for a time lapse to move around. And you can set this using the camera app on your smartphone, and it will pan to whatever minute or hour you want to set it to. So that was set for quite a quick pan, but you can actually do it to an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 8 hours. And while we're talking of the camera app, I'll go into the app and I'll show you. I'll do a screen record to show you how I go into it. But you do the Feiyu On app, and it will connect to this via Bluetooth. So that'll be really good for time lapses. So just run through a couple of the buttons on the front. You've got a button to change the horizontal position of the camera, and then the little magic double tap button which knocks everything back to true. The other thing that's quite good for is if you hold the gimbal and then hold that in, it actually just goes into lock mode. So you can have it on selfie mode, depress that button, and then it will lock into place. Other controls you've got, let's go back to center, is you've got a little joystick here which you can do the pan and tilt. You've got the pan and the tilt. So there's just one last control, is the little dial at the side. Once it's set into gimbal mode, which you do that by pressing, you can then control the tilt. Press it once and you control the pan. Press it again, press it again, and then you can control the pitch. So it's really that, controlling the pan is really good for doing nice smooth landscapes, or you can use the little joystick on the back there. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go and explore West Bay, have a look around, see if we can see some of those Broadchurch sites, and we'll do some filming with the gimbal, with this camera and with the other camera as well. So that was a bit of fun. I've got to show you how I go about using the gimbal and the benefits that it's going to give me while I'm out doing tutorials for you. It's also going to be perfect for when I'm traveling, because I can take this little setup and don't have to carry a huge amount of camera kit. So it's a perfect travel vlogging setup. The things I like about the gimbal and the things I don't quite like so much, it would have been handy if these legs had come with the gimbal, but I had to buy them separate. Not that that's a problem. If you do go ahead and buy this, these are invaluable, so make sure you get a pair of legs. The other thing I like is the double tap on the front button, just to bring everything back to center. I do like the little jockey wheel. It's a very smooth little jockey wheel on the back that you can use with your thumb. The other thing I like is the different modes, and the one I particularly like is the vlogging mode. So you hit the thing 3 times and the camera comes and faces you, so you can then vlog to the camera. The other thing I like about, while the camera's on the back here, is this motor is set down and out of the way, so you can still see what's going on in the viewfinder. Tap that to get it back around there. It's nice and light, and as I showed you out in the field, you can just swap it from one hand to another and you won't get too much movement, and it'll look quite natural because it's nice and smooth. The one thing I will say about the gimbal is that there are elements that I'm not that keen on, or could have been thought of better. I'm just going to put the legs on. Now you can control the camera through your phone. And I found that you can control the gimbal through your phone, which is fine, and I did do some setups with that, but I couldn't get the camera to work on the gimbal software, but that's not a big deal for me. One thing I would have quite liked is if the accessory screw here was actually on this side, because then I could have used the phone accessory. I could have got a double-ended screw there to put into there and then put into there, and I could have used the phone as a mini screen. But because it's in the way of the wheel there, I would either have to get one that was really stood out, which I might just do, or I'm just not going to be able to use that at all. So the other thing is the charging cover is a piece of rubber which stops water getting in there, which is why this thing's water resistant. But I did pull that out and it's ripped it off. So although it's back in there now and it will be fine, it won't actually stay in there, and at some point it'll fall off and I'll lose it. But that's a very small, minor thing. Overall then, I really like using this gimbal. It's lightweight, it's small, it's absolutely perfect for the camera systems that I've got. So overall, I'm ecstatic with this. The balancing is easy, the motors are strong enough to take all sorts of camera kit. It's light enough to carry around pretty much all day. It's versatile enough that when you've got the legs, it can be used as a standalone. I can use my phone to operate the gimbal or the camera, or both at the same time. So in future videos, you're going to see much smoother footage. And talking of which, if you want to see when my next videos are coming out, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. If you like this video, please hit me a like. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.